spirit of matter. And this episode is a planetary blessing for Mars. It's Mars Day and it is Mars hour where I'm at. So, this is a good time to. Oh, is it Mars hour where I'm at? Because I see. I could be wrong. No, Venus hour. I noticed the energies are so. Well, it is Mars Day, and perhaps it is good to pick a Venus hour to do this because Venus is more connecty and Mars is more conflicty. So, and this is the chart for the episode, and ascendant in Virgo for those who are only listening, with the ruler of the ascendant on a Venus sign, retrograde Mercury. So, this episode begins on a Mercury retrograde ruled ascendant with the moon in Cancer and Mars in Cancer in 16 degrees. Mars in 16 degrees Cancer, um, applying to trine vertex. So this is Mars, and I'm going to go without further ado to. I hope I have it. It will probably not be immediate, but I want to do it by the rulership book. And as I'm doing the rulership book, which will take me a bit of a practice to open, and you see some nice photos that I keep in my phone of villas, of photos of talismans that I want to order and save for and manifest. So, if you recognize some of these photos are from Christopher Warnock. Um, so he has great talismans and they are a bit costly. So what I do is I manifest. I manifest having the wealth to buy them. And this is how I do it. This is a rulership book. It is a free book. And we are already on Mars. So this is lovely. And it tells you by planet, by sign, and by letters what things are ruled by what, which I found to be amazing. So the first thing I see here, I'll I'll I just paid attention to Mars ruling daisies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over several of these and I'm going to give blessings. Um, so daisies. I did not know that daisies are ruled by Mars, and I need to check which flower it actually is because it's not dandelion, and I know the name of the flower, but I don't have the picture in front of my eyes, and I don't want to lose this document. So for daisies, I would, I'm just going to read about it first. I might do a secondary video in a future episode. So this is market for me to read about daisies and maybe their magical uses. Mars rules danger and dangerous occupations. In this case, dangerous occupations like detective, like even a person that goes to dig in the mountains or building in the mountains, construction. So dangerous, construction, maybe also construction of houses and buildings. My blessing is for people who are in these occupations that are more dangerous to have good working conditions, safe working conditions, and for that to be allowed by the structure and for them to be well paid, to work safely and be able to work diligently and safely. For people who are in situations that involve danger, which is the entire humanity currently, I wish for us all to do the right thing in the safest manner possible and to not fear risk or the danger, and also to act strategically and ensure your safety and be successful in advocating for yourself, defending yourself, and thriving, basically, the thriving, daring. Okay, Mars rules daring. So for those of you who may not know this, the name of my business, when I opened my business, I had to declare to the taxes the name of the business. It is Dare to Dream. And funnily enough, I have Aries that is ruled by Mars, second house, so Dare to Dream, and I'm ruled by Jupiter. But I didn't know that all back then. And my blessing is for us to dare to dream, to dare to pursue dreams again in safe manners, in ways that's actually fulfilling for us. Um, to dare be ourselves, to dare express our feelings. Okay, now with Mars in Cancer. Um, okay, we have darts. I don't know what is darts, and dauntlessness, which I also need to learn. I run into new words here. Death by accidents or violence. So my blessing in this case is um, for people to drive safely and to be safe on the roads. I know that we have, for example, some accidents that are initiated, okay, politically initiated, like terror attacks or guerrilla attacks by accidents. Um, and so for people to have safe environment, safe driving, to walk safely, to work safely, um, and for basically the energies of Mars to exert themselves in a positive manner. And if a person has been involved in an accident or something like that, um, for them to heal quickly and to transform quickly. If there is something that needs changing, that needs revising, for that to be with ease. Um, so this is accidents of violence regarding death. So basically, for people to be saved from these things, so using Mars or calling on Mars for safety and protection from these type of deaths. Um, Sudden deaths and so on and so forth. So protection from the planet Mars from those types of deaths that are premature. Okay, those premature deaths, basically. You say, well, every death is premature. Yes, we also have timing, and if death has to be, then yes, for it to be, say, you know, for it to be, yes, say, yeah, quick, if it has to be, then it for not prolonged by suffering, but more a quick passage of the threshold to other worlds. Um, so no major suffering. Um, Debates and debating. So Mars is ruler of debates and debating. In here, my blessing is to honor conflict of opinions, to allow for diversity of opinions, and blessing for us all to know how to get our point across without creating an enemy. Okay, there are ways to assert ourselves that actually bring people, whether it is to agree with us or not to agree with us, to find Mars is also penetration. So Mars can penetrate the point of the disagreement and find, and especially in Cancer, what needs need to be met. Because you can have a position, this is a lesson I had from Model UN and bridging conversations and diplomacy. So two people can have different positions, but actually they're looking for the same need. So the need can be safety. And one person see one position as serving their safety, and the other person sees the complete other position as serving their safety. So for the need, the underlying need to be met in a way that is safe for all parties, and so my blessing is for us to be able to find those needs that need to be met and to meet them so as to resolve conflict and use Mars as a problem solver on a need based situation, as well as not to hide from conflict but to assert ourselves and to meet our needs in high manner. So Mars is also defense, defender. For us, defendants also at the law. So for us to be able to advocate for ourselves, for people to have the advocacy that meets their needs, that defends their needs in a way that is of the higher good. Um, yeah, so decapitation, so all those triggery things. Mars is the ruler of decapitation. Um, well, basically, if we talk about decapitation, we're talking about Mars is the ruler of Aries, which is the head. And my blessing in this case is for people to, for us all, to not lose our heads over something. Okay? To know, to set a boundary, protecting ourselves from losing our head over something. So people can stay intact and use Mars as calling him to defend from the situation, to calling of Archangel Michael to assert boundaries. And Archangel Michael works with these victorious situations where you have to assert your boundaries, you have to defend yourself. And Archangel Michael helps us to prevail. And sometimes with Aries, when Mars is ruling Aries, who we are prevailing over is not the opponent, but ourselves. Okay, to get the better of ourselves, to not lose our heads. So, calling for Archangel Michael and blessing to give us the blessing, and for Mars to give us the blessing with Archangel Michael to um, know when and how and in what amount to use assertion or aggression if needed to maintain our autonomy and sense of self with ease. So, defacing, I don't know, deeds one does, so action. Mars is the ruler of action. And I've stated a lot about defensive, assertive action. My additional blessing is regarding drive, so that we as people will each individually have the drive and the passion and the energy to pursue our drives and passion in a safe and um, in a fashion that is for the highest good. So the energy, chi energy, or ki, that supports both identifying, discerning our passions and the true passions, the essence. Mars is the essence of something. So I'm not talking about the essence, the passion to buy yourself a chocolate cookie. I'm talking about the essence of the satisfaction in your life, and to pursue it with diligence and dignity. Um, yeah, so desire bodies. My blessing regarding desire is for us to be able to enjoy the joy of desire, the joy of desire rather than the agony of desire. And I feel the calling to call on the blessing of Archangel Michael for that. As for some, it is a religious prevailing over our obsessions, and for some is some sort of non-attachment needed to practice desire. So even erotic desire, some non-attachment is needed to practice the joy of desire. So for us to be able to do so, and for us to also be able to enjoy desiring and our desire body in ways that are truly nourishing and truly, genuinely, essentially fulfilling for us, and of course, together with, not on the account of um, other people. Devouring. Okay, so this relates to the previous one. Diamond cutters. Okay, but what I have is more about the diamond than the diamond cutters. From the diamond cutters' perspective, my blessing is first of all that they will work safely. They have good working conditions that do not wound their hands or tire their eyes, and that they will have also diversity if they need to do other things, and that the diamonds that they cut. Okay, so my blessing for the diamond cutters is that the people who cut diamonds, who process the diamonds, will process ethically sourced diamonds and they will win to process these diamonds after these diamonds were mined by people that had good working conditions, safe working conditions. And this is my blessings, and these diamonds will also go and be a blessing, an even grander blessing. And I can think right now about the relation between the diamond as the symbol of the engagement and the way it is not ethically sourced, and the fate of marriage in our life that is often due to some level of disempowerment. Not always, some level of disempowerment. And financial issues. So when we change how we source the diamond, then this is the blessing of the marriage. You know, this is the engagement. This is when somebody wants somebody to marry them, then they buy engagement ring and they propose, and this is the symbol, this is the signature of the marriage, of the commitment that they're taking to each other. Wouldn't we want that to be ethically sourced, and for that to be a genuine blessing, even more so than it is today? And for the diamond cutters that are doing this sacred job, I bless them to be doing that with ethically sourced diamonds and other gemstones that are relevant in the right dosage that is good for our ecosystem. So, um, discord, disagreements. So, for us to know how to argue in a way that yields resolution of a conflict on a deeply emotional level, even psychological level, because Mars has the power to do that. So, we will know how to argue in a civil way and assert ourselves in a civil way. Um, Inflammation. So balance inflammation. Yes, inflammation, Mars and boundary setting. So inflammation is a result when is excess heat because of excess friction between our autonomy and other entities, beings, people, circumstances. So my blessing is that we'll have the amount of friction needed to create beautiful dynamic that can be like sexual tension or meeting a new point of view, and that we will have enough of the Venusian and enough of the lunar to balance and support and nourish and anchor this dynamo of an engine that allows for a good discourse to go, and for the amount of seeing things from a different point of view to be there. That can be friction, because it's like, hey, there's something colliding with what I believed. Oh, that friction is actually igniting a passion in me to explore the world from a new point of view. So those will be our heated, so to say, in situations, and we'll have enough yin to anchor this so we don't get inflamed in this and enough honor of our respects, and of course with the blessing of Archangel Michael, of Isis, of Selene, to mandate the situation. Um, okay, there's a lot, and I'm already feeling kind of like my energy going. Energy, Mars ruling energy. energy. So, my blessing is for us as people to know how to work with energy in a way that's good for our own well being and wealth, and relations. And again, together with rather than on the account of. Um, so, that, and for us to understand the essences of energy, both on the multi-layered spiritual and I wanted to say energetic, which is a tautology, spiritual matter and spirit forms of energy, for us to honor them and to work wisely with them, um, in a way that genuinely nourishes well-being. Enemies, vengeful enemies. So, in this case, vengeance. My blessing is, first of all, we can call on Archangel Michael, call on Mars to protect ourselves from these type of enemies that are very vengeful, and to set a clear boundary and to send them back to converse with God. And I have a story for you. Today, earlier today, um, I told you I put, before the holiday, I put things for charity outside my home. And because it was at a distance from the garbage cans, I wanted to respect the people who will find this. Then people came on the holiday because they knew they did not evacuate anything that of the trash, which is why we put them there. And they wanted to give a fine. I was not there. My neighbor was there, and she told me that when I came back. And I was furious. I was infuriated. And this touched at my freedom of religion, because I am half Jewish, half Christian, and the holiday was a Muslim holiday. I knew that Arab people loved the matzot after the Jewish holiday, so I put, package of that and some food that I had for the winter that was still very much valid and edible, with some clothes. And I did it in a way that it looks like I'm just kind of like throwing the things that I don't need, but also in a bit of separation where it looks dignified and it looks like a person would not be ashamed to take that. Um, and because that was, the people came on a holiday, it was a Muslim holiday, and they basically violated the sacredness of the holiday and the holiday spirit. And it had also symbols of all three religions there. So that touched on the freedom of religion. And my Mars is in the ninth house in the Jupiter decan of Scorpio. And I was infuriated. And from this charity, this ritual, I grew into such deep, deep, deep hatred. Not only that, like the danger of a fine that I would not be able to stand in, and a situation where I would be even more pressed and stressed out, economically, financially, and so on and so forth. So I was so infuriated, and I really felt so terrible that I was like, even after I die, I'm going to still, like, I felt such vengefulness. And then somehow I found the powers to pray, to just call on divinity to help me. A couple of hours later, I already felt better, and I saw a rabbi that was writing on Facebook about hatred, and how this vengeful hatred can be source of all ailments for people, and how we need to pray to God to ask us to help with this vengefulness. And so, as a person who did that just today on a Mars day, I found that just standing to it, just praying, just asking, even if you are in the situation where you feel vengeful, even if for the most right reasons, ask whatever your fate is to help you, and the angels, the archangels, to help you resolve these feelings, to help you to feel better, to let go, because Mars is also severing ties with the unjust. Mars is also letting go. So ask of Mars to sever ties with these, to purge these feelings and to sever ties with this emotional upheaval of vengefulness. Scorpio, Mars will be Scorpio. Mars will in Scorpio is also incredibly forgiving because of this ability to purge and let go, and just, it might not be in one day, but you purge, you let go, and then you feel relief. Um, so bless yourself, and this is a great thing to do when you bless an enemy. You can watch my bless an enemy video. It's one of the most comprehensive videos that I did about protecting yourself, and I mentioned bless an enemy. So I bless all people, myself, other people, even people who are feeling vengeful, feeling even people who feeling enemy, who feeling this way towards me. I bless myself, I bless them with letting go of vengefulness without acting out vengefulness. So with feeling better and finding a resource for the vengeful feeling that they can have their catharsis in a way that does not interfere or hurt the other person in any level, not energy level, not spirit level, not physical level, any level. And they can have their own, whether they need a cathartic experience or they need to pray or they need to feel supported, love, relieved, accepting, and kind of for things to mellow down and for the situation to alchemize so that they can be centered in themselves and go back to pursuing their passions and go back to having a healthy drive in life and so on and so forth. So I bless myself with that. I bless my enemies with that. I bless you with that. I bless your enemies with that. And you can do this. You can join this blessing. So that was for energy, enemies, energy, dynamic energies. And because I am getting really tired, then I'm going to set the boundary and I'm going to say thank you very much for watching this episode. You can return to this whenever you want, whether it's a Mars day or not a Mars day. And you can listen to this, you can repeat the blessings, you can add blessings of your own. You can read this book at any time. It's called Rulership, Book of Rulership. You have a free PDF on Google that you can download, and it tells you everything that is ruled by everything. You can practice just what I practice in your own time. And you see, I did this on a Mars day and a Venus hour, and it's not a problem. So we can always say a blessing. Okay, it's not invocation or something more significant. We can always say a blessing. Um, So this is one good way. I know I'm on the mailing list of Christopher Warnock, Spiritus Mundi, and somebody asked for more ways to connect with the planets other than invocation or magic or preparing consecrating talismans. And so I offered blessing anything that is ruled by the planet. And another Mars story is coming from Lada Duncheva that I listened to, and I don't know if she still has this video, but she talked about Mars was hard aspecting something of her husband's chart, and he was angry, 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 and then one day he looked at Mars in the sky and started saying, no, 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 Mars, I'm thankful to you, I'm grateful, I am this, I am that. Started blessing Mars. Okay, so like we're doing blessing the things that rule Mars, but also blessing Mars for the protection, for the passion, for the drive that it brings our life, for the healthy boundary settings, for the joie de vivre that it brings to our life. And whatever he had difficulties with Mars, it's starting to disappear, even with the hard aspects. So even if you don't have money to buy expensive talismans, or if you don't have the ability to pray every day, just doing that, you're having a difficulty or issue that you currently is dealing in. It reminds me as a holistic health practitioner of Louise Hay. And Louise Hay, her motto was that if something is difficult in my life, I start to bless it. If there's a boss that's bugging you, you start to bless this boss and think how beautiful of the qualities you want this boss to have and think how beautiful are these qualities and so on and so forth. And so you get the best of the people around you in this way. Okay, you dictate your world and get only the best of the people around you so that even if a person is being mean to other people with you, they will be respectful, they would be blissful. And you do this not by conflict but by blessing. So this is what this practice reminds me of. And any difficulty that you have in life, you can start to bless, not bless the difficulty, but bless the situation. Like, let's say you have a difficulty with your father, start blessing your father, blessing your father. And this is, it's such a miraculous thing to do. have a difficulty with women, start blessing women. Bless them, bless them, bless them, bless them, bless them. Um, and in many cases, you will see transformation happening in your life. This is what this practice is inspired by. And this is so accessible and so available, um, so that you have, this free thing that you can download. You can watch my videos, you can just listen or listen over and over again. You can write it down. You don't have to petition, you don't have to, just bless. And that in itself is so powerful, the power of blessing, the power of prayer. um, there's so many explanations, religious and non-religious, for why it works. And that's just powerful, and I love sharing it. And I will stop this video. um, if you would like to donate this channel, um, so yes, this is a possibility. I am made to love magic one on PayPal, strudel.gmail.com on PayPal. I still need to find international accountant and find out how do I give you receipts. So I don't know how it works, but this is a possibility where you can do that. So I'm doing astrology podcast. I'm also a woman, so things ruled by Venus, by Mercury, um, and you can. I believe I usually have my chart in the earlier episodes, so you can see if I have planets in your 12th house that are well aspected, or for charity, I think they don't even have to be well aspected, and so you can integrate that as your planetary charity. Um, so this is beneficial for you, and it creates good impact, good results in your life, and it can serve also me. So if you would like to dedicate a donation for, I don't know, this episode or something like that, I don't want you to have a tier. I don't want you to be priced out of my content. Just if you can, and how much ever you can, then that's a possibility. Um, and yeah, so you can and have your own dedication of how and what you connected with the planets, and then have the donation on the planetary hour and day. So you can schedule that, and you can do it from your own vantage point, and that helps you to connect with the planets. I must make sure that you understand, even if you don't donate a penny, when you just listen to these videos, and it helps you to connect with the planet, and you bless me as well, even if you just bless me as well, genuinely bless, yeah, then it is also helpful. Okay, so you do not have to spend a dime to gain a blessing. This is very important for me to understand. Okay, those things are crucial for my spiritual guidelines. You don't have to pay for blessing. I am not in the people who believe you have to exchange money to get a blessing, or to get a kindness of spirit or divinities. That being said, if it's something that you are able to do, then you can incorporate it as your planetary charity. And of course, it is advised to do this when you are able to do this, when it is in your spirit, in your good spirit to do that, and with what you can. So it's not an invitation to be financially irresponsible, but rather to build your planetary connection in a responsible way whenever you can. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next episode. That was me, and you can subscribe this channel to get notifications for when I release these episodes. Bless you.